So if I was with my current company right now, I would probably be asking questions about like how I like to ask other people questions first. So getting to know them, asking, a question about maybe how their workout routine or asking them to help me with a certain machine. And then that just starts a conversation. And then we start to get to know each other. I ask them what they do. They ask me what I do. That's my lead right there when they ask me what I do.
Welcome to MLM Nation, a podcast of leaders, by leaders, for leaders, hosted by Simon Chan. He's built a team of over 200,000 and is now a full-time MLM coach and trainer. So if you're ready to level up your business, join us now. Let's do this.
MLM Nation, this is Simon Chan. I'm fired up to bring our special guest today. This is our second time on the show. We got Blair Critch. Hey, Blair, are you ready to make it happen?
I'm so ready. I love your energy, Simon. It's why I love listening to you and checking out what you're doing all over social. You have the best energy.
Oh, thank you so much. MLM Nation, if you never heard of Blair's first episode, she was on episode 574, where she talked about how to get your spouse and family to support you. Definitely go check that out. But today, if you don't know her, let me share about her background. She got started in network marketing about 10 years ago. And today she's a full-time leader and leads a team of tens of thousands of distributors. Before she got started, she was a kindergarten teacher and then realized one day that she wouldn't be able to afford to work and still raise her two young boys. Today, she's hit her company's Millionaire award, and it also has 4 downline leaders that achieved that award as well. After having ovarian cancer in 2021, and this was after the last episode we did, Blair has even a bigger purpose now to share about how network marketing has helped her family. So anyway, Blair, great to see you healthy. Welcome back to the show. But take us to the background. How did you go from kindergarten teacher to network marketing?
Yeah, great question, right? So actually, there was a little bump in the road in between those two things. So I was teaching kindergarten, got pregnant with both of our boys, had the ability to stay home for 5 years, which was a blessing. But during that time, we built up a rental business where we had 10 different properties that we were renting out to families. And it was like that magic thing that happened. I call it magic. Actually, I should call it disastrous thing that happened in 2009, where the economy crashed and my husband's business was wrapped up in the mortgage industry. There were multiple hurricanes here in South Florida. Insurance went skyrocket. People could not afford to pay their rent. And my husband and I are quite the bleeding hearts. So we realized renting homes is not the best thing for us to do because we felt horrible and couldn't increase people's rents. And we went through all of our savings, plus our stock market stuff had crashed. And we had to file bankruptcy. And some of you guys might have experienced that even during COVID. And so maybe you can relate, but it was heartbreaking. And then as we were trying to pull ourselves out of bankruptcy, I found out my husband had an oxycodone addiction. So it was a double whammy. Wasn't sure if he was going to get better. Wasn't sure if he was going to get the help that he needed. I knew I had to figure out something to do to get money in our family. It was the spring of 2009. And I thought, I can't go back to teaching until fall. What am I going to do to pay for groceries next week? And I fell upon a jewelry business. That's what I was with first. Now I'm with a vitamin supplement company. And I never thought I could sell anything. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm not good at sales, good. Because I believe the best network marketers and direct sales people are the ones who share from an authentic place. And that was really what happened for me. And so within 3 months of sharing this jewelry business with people, I was making more a month than I ever did teaching. And so that started my direct sales industry business. And then in 2014, I switched over to a vitamin supplement company only because the product blew me off my feet. I couldn't believe how great I felt. And I loved when I started learning more about residual income. So that kind of switched me to a new company that now I've been with for the last, it'll be 9 years this fall.
So how did you hear? Let's go back to the first jewelry company.
Yeah.
Who told you about it? Was it a friend? How did you get?
Actually, it was so serendipitous. I was on Facebook, which by the way, there wasn't even Instagram back then, right? It was so new. And on Facebook, I saw a friend having an online jewelry party that I followed. There was a couponer because, when you're desperate for money, you're couponing, right? You're cutting out every coupon you can. So it was a coupon lady that I followed on Facebook. She was hosting an online jewelry party. I reached out to the girl who was selling the jewelry and said, listen, I've been to some crappy jewelry parties here in South Florida. I've never seen one this gorgeous. I think that it's April. I need some gifts for end of the school year teachers, for Mother's Day. I'm in a desperate spot right now. I know my friends would buy this jewelry and then I could get some for free and use them as gifts. And she was like, listen, I'm a teacher too, and I do this full time. Let's talk a little bit more about it. And I thought she was crazy, but my mom said, I'm going to give you that $400 to buy that starter kit because you would be phenomenal at this. You love people, and why not try it? And my mom was right. I mean, it was like magic. I loved it. And I loved everything about it. And I still love everything about this industry. So I'm forever grateful for that one Facebook post I happened to see and for my mom giving me that push, right?
Wow. So how well did you know that? You said the Facebook post was from a friend. How well did you know that person?
Oh my goodness, like not very long. I think I've been following, and she wasn't even a friend. I should just say like a coupon lady I followed, right? For about 2 months. I was following her for about 2 months. And that's it.
And you were able to replace your kindergarten job within 3 months. Why did you achieve success so fast while a lot of people were struggling?
That's a great question. So I really believe, well, first of all, there was a fire, right? There was a fire going on in my family. I mean, I knew this had to be successful, but honestly, I really still believe to this day, it's because I cared and I shared. And it wasn't about selling something because I really didn't think that it was going to bring me all that much money. I thought, okay, I'll make a couple $100 that will pay for groceries every week until I can go back to teaching in the fall. And I think because I came into it with that perspective, I wasn't like, oh, desperate that it worked. I wasn't upset if somebody said no. I wasn't, mortified if somebody wasn't interested. I really went into it with like, this jewelry is beautiful. If you want to purchase something, let's go for it. And hey, you bought those earrings. Like maybe you should look at this bracelet that matches. Or have you thought about Mother's Day gifts? And it was just very natural to me because I love helping people. I'm still that girl. Like when the shoes are on sale at Target that I love, I'm texting all my friends to tell them. Right. So I'm already that person. So like if you're already that person on Instagram and Facebook, that's normal for you. This is very similar. It's just that you're actually getting paid to do it. And then the second part of it, I didn't realize that I could bring other people in with me. And once I understood that and started helping them to see the same success, it was like a fireball. And it was so exciting to see other people achieving their goals and other people earning income as well. And then that for me was like, I love this. Not only do I love the selling part and sharing that with people, but I really love helping other people see what they're capable of.
In your journey, what was the turning point or aha moment where things really, I mean, you're doing really well, but then things really start taking off for you?
So I would say actually, so I did very well with the jewelry business. I did well, but it was really when I switched over to the vitamin supplement business and I could work with men and women. And what really switched for me was realizing that so many people are just a few $100s away from the spot my husband and I were in when we had to file bankruptcy. And that to me lit me on fire that I was going to tell everybody. And I wasn't going to be afraid of people saying no to me. And I wasn't going to be afraid of people maybe laughing behind my back or not posting on social media because didn't want to annoy my friends and family. Instead, I started looking at it as a business. And yes, I have fun in my business. And yes, I love my business, but it's still a business. And my husband owns a real estate business. And I've watched how much money he's had to spend on marketing, how much money he has to spend on getting out there and meeting people, and all the hours and hours of meeting with people. And then they might say no, right? Network marketing, direct sales, you don't have to do any of that. It is literally like, here is your business in a box. Take from it what you want. And so for me, it was like, I'm going to show everybody in this world how amazing this business is, because I did have a few people in the beginning laugh at me or say that's cheesy or that's a pyramid scheme. So I really was like, I need to show them what's possible. Instead of being upset or hurt, they just didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. And so for me, it was really important that I showed them how you can be a professional and still be in this networking, marketing, MLM industry.
Let's go touch a little bit more. When people are negative or I can't believe you're doing this. You went from real estate investing to doing this. Emotionally, and what's the self-talk that you say that keeps you going?
Yeah. Well, I think for it back then, when we were going through bankruptcy and my husband's addiction, I had a lot of people saying stuff about everything, telling me what I should and shouldn't do, right? But none of them were paying my bills. So the reality is I stopped every time I got a negative or felt like somebody was maybe talking about me or heard something about somebody said, I would just stop. I would take a deep breath and I would go, they're not paying my bills. They're not here trying to help my family right now. So I'm going to move on. I'm not going to let it affect me. And I will say that was the beginning of my mindset journey as well. So, if you're not filling your brain every single day with positive things, for me, that is being in the Bible every single morning, being in prayer, being in gratitude, and then reading at least 10 minutes every day of some kind of, mindset or goal focused, information so that I'm continuously feeding my brain. And I just realized that I can't live my life for other people. I had 2 children that needed me and still need me. Now they're 19 and 17, but they still need me, right? And if I gave up because of something somebody else said, how is that going to help my family? And so I still remind myself of that. I just had an instance this weekend where it was my son's graduation party, and I had we have a product that is an energy drink. And so I was like, well, why wouldn't I put out my energy drink at this party, right? Like that makes sense. If you're marketing, if you owned Red Bull and you had a party, wouldn't you put Red Bull out at your party? Like it just makes sense. So I put it out at the party, and I heard a woman talking about me to another woman. And she said something like, oh, that's so tacky that she put that out. And I thought, I'm so glad I overheard that, because I will never say that about anybody. And she doesn't pay my bills. So it's good for me to hear that. So I remember and I stay passionate about what I'm doing and not let somebody else blow out my candle, right? Like I go back to like my little nursery rhymes I used to sing to my kids or read to my kids, right? Like nobody can blow out your light, right? Unless you allow them to. So I just remind myself of that a lot. And also as a leader, and by the way, you're a leader if you have one person on your team or more, you guys. So for me as a leader, these things only help me to be a better leader. So I go straight to my team and I teach them about it right away, because when I speak about it, I feel more confident about it. So I challenge you to do that too, because that's really helped me. Like, wow, that really stunk Saturday, but I'm going to go right on my team page. I'm going to go live. I'm going to share with them what happened, how I dealt with them, and encourage them to share things that have happened to them too.
That's great advice. Because when you share it, it's kind of like accountability, and makes you grow. Makes you grow. Let's shift topics a little bit. How have you seen the profession change? And the last time we had you was at episode 571 a couple years ago. How have you seen the profession change, especially after the pandemic?
So much, right? It's changed a lot, in my opinion. I think the number one thing is social media moves so fast now. And I think that unfortunately, a lot of people think they have to be the next influencer or the next, person that's amazing on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. And now those are amazing. If you're good at that and you want to learn that, I think that's amazing. But I think that people are forgetting that this is a social sharing business. So you need to get out there and have conversations. You need to have connections, trying to set up systems so that you don't have to ever talk to somebody again and just hope, people come through your funnel of, all these different things that you can create. You lose the connection. And while you might get some great customers that way, you're probably not going to get any great business builders to stay with you if you're not connecting and becoming, attached to each other and having that connection. So that, unfortunately, I've seen happen a lot in this industry. I think the other thing is, I think if we're all being honest, after COVID, it was hard to get back to working again, right? For a lot of us, we kind of sat back during that time. A lot of us, our lives changed. And so I find that a lot of people, they are not resistant to the hardship anymore. It's like something gets hard and they want to quit right away, which, by the way, nothing in life is not hard. Like a marriage and being a parent is really hard. But guess what? If you continue to invest in yourself, you continue to read books, you continue to grow, you continue to have those special moments together, it's only going to get better, right? So same thing with your business. And then the other thing I've noticed is that people are doing less in-person connections than they used to, which is something that like I've really gotten back into this last year. And my business has seen, I think I was looking at my numbers before I came on here. Since January, my numbers of personally enrolled customers and promoters who go on to at least achieve the first rank of our company has doubled since last year. And I really believe it's because I'm getting connections with people outside of my home again. I'm going to events, I'm connecting with people, I'm getting in touch with local businesses. And I think that's something that I've seen lack. But the other part is, I think a lot of people realize the amazing opportunity now that's happening with direct sales, network marketing. I think they realize, you know what? I maybe don't want to work 10 hours a day in an office. I don't want to have a glass ceiling. I don't want somebody telling me when and where I can go to the bathroom and go on vacation, right? And so the opportunity, I think, is becoming more enticing, which is really exciting.
You mentioned about small businesses. What's the best way to reach out, or first of all, to connect with them and
Yeah.
get someone interested. Especially a lot of these small business owners, they are pretty busy. Actually, they're very, very busy already.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you mind? I have like 6 really great tips. Can I just go
Sure.
through those tips? Okay, awesome.
Yep.
So, first, I want you guys to think about this. If you opened up a hair salon tomorrow, or a med spa, or a floral business, right? You're going to treat your business like a business. So, what's one of the things that you do? You go out to local businesses, you give them coupons, you ask, if they can come and support you. You might connect with the Chamber of Commerce and have a ceremony where you cut the ribbon. Like, these are things you do. So start treating your business like a business. Look at some of the local businesses around you and think, what are they doing and why can't you? Because you are also a small business in your area. But the very first thing I always suggest to my team to do is think about, where are you going on the regular? Like, you're spending money at some of these local places. I hope you are. And by the way, shout out to that. You should be supporting other network marketing businesses, and you should be supporting other small businesses in your local area. Because yes, it's important that we have big businesses too. I'm not saying to never go into Walmart again, but I will say it's really important, if you have a local hardware store, like, why not go support that mom and pop store over the big, large Lowe's or Home Depot sometimes, right? So think about, where are you spending money in your local area? Where do you go regular? Maybe it's a boutique, a med spa, a chiropractor, a gym, these kind of things. They already have a relationship with you. You are spending money at their establishment. They are more likely to listen to you, okay? So that's the first group you're going to go to. Here's an example. I go to a yoga studio I've been going to for the last year. I just went up simply to the owner. First, I asked when she was going to be in. They told me. I made sure I booked this yoga session for that time. So she saw that I was a customer. I'd never met her before. I introduced myself. I told her the classes that I take, how much I'm loving her studio. And then I said, I'd love to partner with you. I'm another small business owner in this area. And I think my business and your business would be a great way to get some new people for you and some new people for me. So that's actually tip number 2. After you make your list, and if you're not sure, over the next 2 weeks, just make a list everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, write it down so you can start looking at where you're spending money in your local area. But the tip number 2 that goes along with that is make it a win-win situation. So I said to that yoga studio owner, I said, listen, Lori, you own this studio. I have amazing vitamin supplement products that I know your patrons would love. I have a list of a couple thousand people here in South Florida. And I know you have a list of people that have either come to the place or looked at your place before. What if we did an event together? And we hosted an event, and you had some kind of really amazing special for people who signed up for a 6-month, gym membership with you that night. And I had a special for people who ordered with me that night. And we had some raffles for people who came, and we gave away one little thing to each person who was there, right? And now I email it out to my list, and I use Facebook and Instagram and TikTok to get it out. You do the same. We would have people show up that you would have never gotten in here and that I would have never met. So it's a win-win situation for us. And so that was a huge opportunity for me. And guess what? It was an amazing event. I did it again with F45. I've done it with chiropractors. I've done it with med spas. I've even done it with florists, because if you guys aren't familiar with this, a new big trend right now is these floral companies or florists, local florists, they'll have these create your own bouquet parties. So again, that's a great way for you to bring to a florist. If they're not already doing this, this is a great way for people to find out about them. Okay. Tip number 3, where would your ideal client hang out? I'm sure you've heard of your ideal client before for social media, right? Like, that's amazing. You need to know who you're talking to, or you're talking to nobody. Same thing with your local community. Like, where would your ideal client hang out? My ideal client is a woman who's between ages 35 and 50. She's a tired, exhausted, rundown, stressed out mom who's trying to work and balance her life and is feeling like she's not doing great at any of those things. Okay. That's my jam. I love those women. So I'm looking for places that those women hang out. Yoga studios, because she's looking for a way to feel better. I go to sound healing events. I go to any kind of events that are happening for busy moms in my area. I go to girls' night out that I get invited to, PTF events that I get invited to, right? I'm looking for places where those people are going to hang out. Okay. The next thing is, what can you create yourself to get women together? We're heading into summer. What about some pool parties where you have some shopping at the pool party? How fun is that for the moms while their kids are playing? Or here's one, a back to school event, or actually, like I love to have, is a Mother's Day shopping event. This is something I try to do every single year at the beginning of May. And I haven't since COVID, and I just started again. And this is one you can all steal this idea. It's such a great idea. You invite other small businesses and direct sale people that you know in your local area. You have people come and you call it the end of the school year and Mother's Day shopping event. You have people set up in your home. You are obviously set up with your products. You don't want to invite anybody who sells the same thing, but you have one person from each kind. Maybe somebody who sells jewelry, somebody who sells candles, somebody who has a med spa and wants to sell, their beauty care stuff. All these different people set up. And you invite people and you let them invite people as well. Here's what happens. You end up meeting a ton of people that come through that door that you would have never met. And guess what? Business owners are the best business builders for you. Don't think that somebody's too busy to join you on your team, because I love business owners because they already know how to juggle their schedule and they already understand how amazing it is to start with our companies, because they're used to putting up a lot of money and not getting paid back for a year or two, right? To start a business. So they see the benefit of it. And they already have a list of names of people that know, like, and trust them, right? So those are a great way to get people together, have fun, and get your products out to more people and their products out to more people. And guess what? Those people are going to appreciate you, those business owners. And now when my candle lady, she makes scrubs and candles, when she's talking to somebody and they're low in energy, she refers me because she's so thankful for the business that I've also brought her. Also, tip number 5, networking events. Listen, there are so many networking events. Go look it up on Meetup, Eventbrite, Google it. If you can't find one, make your own. It means it is time for somebody in your area to make their own. Why not make one? It doesn't have to be anything major. You can Google how to set up your own networking events. They're very simple. Host one a month and get people together. And then last but not least is trying to create some events where you can get people in, whether that is if you're the kind of company where you actually have like little meeting events or you have little happy hours, things like that. Try to create some fun ones like that floral shop that I was talking about. Find a local floral shop, connect with them, say, hey, I'd love to host a little event about maybe women's health, because that's something that I actually do, right? I have a hormone product, a hormone-free product we sell. So I partnered with a local florist and said, hey, I want to do a women's night out where we talk about women's health. I want to have a therapist there to talk about how to deal with mental health issues and stress. I'm going to share about my hormone product. You're going to share about having flowers and why that's so good for you. And then at the end, they get to all make their own floral arrangement, right? And women could bring their own drink. We had bring your own drinks, and women brought wine and champagne, and we had an amazing night. And it was so much fun. And it was an opportunity for me to provide a fun opportunity, but also make connections. And that is the biggest thing. Get out there and make connections. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, I can't get out there right now, maybe you're homebound, maybe something that's going on in your life. When I was going through cancer, I could not get out in town. I felt like for a year, I was basically in my house unless it was an outside activity. If that's the case for you, you can do these same things online. Okay. I'm just trying to encourage you to get back out there, but don't let it stop you from doing these things. Create a Facebook event, have a bunch of vendors in it. Maybe you have a Father's Day or a back to school vendor event, or, a holiday shopping event on Facebook, and you invite other vendors in so they invite people. But there are ways to do this online as well.
That's awesome. Such great tips there. And talk about creating an event. You don't need like a fancy venue or anything. You can just simply do it at your home, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Like a living room or backyard, something like that.
Yeah. And I think those are honestly the best, because people don't want to go to a hotel anymore and listen to maybe you're having great success. I shouldn't say nobody does. I am finding that in my local area, people don't want to do those kind of events anymore. They want to come for something fun and exciting. And, that's what I want to create for them. I want to provide those opportunities. And also, if you're traveling, that's another really great tip. When you just said that, it made me think of, I don't ever travel somewhere and not try to find somebody I know in that area to host a quick little happy hour for me, where I can bring out my products. I call them a healthy happy hour because of the products that I sell, but maybe you sell jewelry or makeup or skincare or something else. And these are great opportunities for you to not only build in that area, but also once that person sees how many people are interested and start to order, guess what? You have a conversation with them about the business, and hopefully they sign up and put all of those new customers underneath them instead of you taking them yourself. Now you're helping somebody build a business underneath you, which is even better. So, and now you can write off your vacation because you did something for your business. That's a tax write-off for all those expenses like your flight and your rental car and those kind of things. So it's a win-win, and it's a really fun way to build your business while you are going somewhere anyways.
Awesome tips here. We have these six steps in the show notes page. Thank you so much for sharing that, Blair. Hey, switching topics a little bit. This is my favorite question. What is your worst? You've been in direct selling for 10 years. What's your worst moment to the point that maybe you wanted to quit, but you didn't? And that's why you're the leader you are today?
Yeah, such a good question. There's been a couple, but I'd say the absolute worst was when you start to build these really strong bonds with people, right? And then they leave your team and they try to take, a lot of people with you, right? I'm sure everybody has either experienced it or seen somebody else experience it before. It's heartbreaking. It's really hard. And the first time it happened to me, I took it very personal. It was really hard for me to recover from that. And then I learned from it. I learned that, again, other people can't take my sunshine, right? And that there are other people out there that need me. And if they were that easy to leave and go somewhere else, then this wasn't the right place for them. And I should have abundance and I should be thankful for the people who are with me and allow them to go on and prosper. And you know what? If somebody else on my team wants to go with them, then that's where they're supposed to be.
How important is consistency to success?
I think it's the most important thing, right? I think consistency and duplication are the two things that I think you have to have in network marketing, direct sales. So for me, consistency is a non-negotiable, because here's the thing. When I noticed, like this last week was my son's graduation, and I got up a couple mornings and I was good about getting my income producing activities done. Then there were a couple of days I didn't. And it's much harder to start again. It's just like working out to me. It's like if I stop going to the gym for a week, it is so hard to get back in the gym, right? And so same thing with your business. So just find those pockets that work for you and get just the important things done. Following up with your customers, reaching out to some new people, those are the things that are most important, not worrying about how beautiful your social media looks, not worrying about if you got onto every single meeting that your company had. Do the things that you know are the most important for your business every single day consistently, and you will see your business grow. Now, all those other things are still important, but they're not as important as staying consistent with your personal business.
Hey, thank you so much, Blair. You've been amazing.
Yeah.
As we go towards the end of the show, some quick questions to pick your brain. And the first one, and these can be quick one-liners. First one is, what is one of your favorite success quotes that motivates you?
I might chop it up a little bit here, but it's, if you want to have success, go help a lot of other people have success, right? And Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn said it a little differently.
What's one habit that's helped you become successful?
Morning routine.
What is your morning routine?
So I get up in the morning, I do a quick little meditation, and then I write out my belief statements, which are basically affirmations. I read my vision, and then I do a little Bible study. I do my gratitude, I do my prayer, and then I get started with my day.
What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
Not to let other people steal your happiness.
What's your favorite prospecting tool you use? So say you have a qualified prospect. Do you lead with a sample? Do you send them a video? Do you get on the phone? Do you do Zoom? What do you like to use?
So for me personally, my favorite is for validation. So as soon as I start talking to them about the products and they seem interested, I immediately put them on a three-way message with somebody else who I think has a story that they could relate with.
What's your favorite app on your phone that's not a social media app?
Wow, that's a really good one. It's my favorite app that's not a social media. Oh, probably Audible.
Yeah. Speaking of Audible, what are 2 or 3 books you could recommend?
Yes. Okay. So my absolute favorite book is Success Principles by Jack Canfield. I probably read it every other year. And then every year I read Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Talk about consistency. If you're having a hard time with consistency, that's the best book for you. And then I also really love, my goodness, my mind just went blank. Oh, Worthy Human by Tracy Litt. That's one, especially women, if you're struggling with feeling confident or feeling strong in your business or having any kind of anxiety or frustrations or anything like that. It is an amazing book and has really helped me.
And here's the last question, the $1 million question. You ready?
I'm ready.
So imagine you had to start all over again and you knew no one. So didn't know your 2 sons, didn't know your husband. You're like an alien that went to another world, but you had all your current knowledge, skills, and wisdom. Blair, what's the first thing you do or the first place you go to find prospects and build a network marketing business from scratch?
Probably the gym.
And what would you say to people?
So if I was with my current company right now, I would probably be asking questions about like how I like to ask other people questions first. So getting to know them, asking, a question about maybe how their workout routine, or asking them to help me with a certain machine. And then that just starts a conversation. And then we start to get to know each other. I ask them what they do. They ask me what I do. That's my lead right there when they ask me what I do.
As we wrap up, any last words or advice? And then what's the best way our listeners can connect with you?
Okay, great. So my best piece of advice is, if you want to have success in network marketing, direct sales, my opinion is it's all about consistency, daily action, right? It is about duplication. You've got to make your business duplicatable so that other people can come in at whatever level they are and however amount of time they have and still be able to duplicate the process. And last is never give up on yourself. If you've never read 5 Feet from Gold, you are 5 feet from gold. Do not give up on yourself. And then you guys can find me on Instagram at Blair Critch 2, like the numeral 2. You can find me on Facebook. Sparkly Blair will bring you right to me. And also you can find me on blaircritch.com.
Well, one more adding to that question. When people at the gym, they ask you what you do, what do you say?
I usually say I get to rep an amazing vitamin supplement company that gives me all day energy, better sleep, reduces inflammation. It makes me feel amazing. Have you ever heard of? And then I share the name of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, MLM Nation, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And today you've been hanging out with Blair Critch. So keep up the momentum and go to MLMNation.com, go to the podcast tab, and click on the show notes and everything, or the nuggets, the 6 steps that Blair shared. And definitely follow her. Check her out on Instagram and Facebook. All the links will be right there. Hey, to be successful in life, in business, and in network marketing, you must help others. So Blair, thanks again for sharing your valuable time with MLM Nation. We're grateful to you, and we appreciate you for having a positive impact on millions of distributors worldwide. Thank you so much again, and God bless you.
Thanks.
Hey, MLM Nation, Simon Chan for a great show from Blair Critch. Awesome episode here. If you never checked it out, definitely check out her first episode, which she talks more. And I think that was episode 574. It was, right? 574, where she talks about how to get your spouse and family to support you. In this episode, she really talked about small business owners. And I think this is the best time for small business owners because the economy is not doing well. If you look at MLM Nation, I used to say, I don't even know what the numbers are, but they're really high. I would say at one point, there was 80% of the top leaders featured on MLM Nation got started during the last financial crisis, right? During 2008, 2009. And Blair is one of them, where she was a kindergarten teacher, couldn't do it. Her husband, real estate business, went underwater because of the 08, 09 financial crisis. They had to declare bankruptcy. And these are the sharp, smart people you want in your business. And often they have they can't get another loan. They can't start another business. So one of the ways, the best and only option they have really is through direct selling because it requires very little money. In fact, for Blair, her mom gave her the $400 for her to try buy some stuff and to get her going, right? So small business owners, especially right now, is a really awesome time. Talk about the 6 steps, treating it like a business, letting everyone know. Your job is not to convince people. Your job is to let people know you have a business. Also talking about doing events, making a win-win situation for people, right? Think about your ideal client. Where are they going to hang out at? Spend time in those events, those circles of influence, or where your ideal client is. Getting people together, right? Talk about networking events, either attending other events or doing your own events, creating fun events, letting other small business owners to talk about what they have, right? She talked about a candle maker, or it could be like someone that owns a yoga spa, right? Doing stuff like that. And even if they don't join your business, all of a sudden you get to, there's always a saying, most network marketers, they struggle because they think the prospect is the destination. They're not the destination, they're the doorway to the destination. So that the candle maker, right? It's not a candle maker, the person who sells the candles, right? They may not join your business, but they, all of a sudden, by doing that event together, they know a lot of people that may be interested. You tap into the network, especially once they know you and they get to like you and they trust you. So Blair also spent a lot of time talking about getting what, she mentioned this a few times, getting what people think. You are going to get negative prospects, and it is going to be hard. It's not going to be easy, but you know what? These people are not paying your bills, right? You got to focus on what you do and don't let others people steal your life. You're listening to this, you're fired up. Don't let other people's opinions, they're not paying your bills. That's something I realized early on. Like, why am I letting this person prevent me from sharing my byproduct. They're not paying my rent. They're not paying my mortgage. They're not paying my kid expenses for my children, right? So I need to do what Simon needs to do and not worry about what they do. Because if you're buying their, and also a lot of these people are negative. If you're buying their opinions, you're buying their lifestyle, right? And that's another reason why small business owners are so great, because they may not join, but they're always open to opportunity, because that's what makes them successful. So great show by Blair Critch. Go to MLMNation.com, click on the podcast tab, go follow her. Her links are there in the show notes. And if you like this, please leave us a review. You're watching this on YouTube. Definitely hit subscribe as well, because, hey, these episodes are not free. They take a lot of my time. Take up with leaders like Blair, sacrificing her schedule, with her 2 kids and her businesses to share this with you. So definitely follow them. Leave us a review. Really appreciate it. Hey, this is Simon Chan. I'm loud and proud to be part of this amazing profession. Thank you for listening. Thanks again to Blair Critch. And now it's your turn to go out there, apply what you learned, and have a positive impact on someone's life. God bless you all.